Hi, I'm Maya Dukmasova, Senior Reporter at Injustice Watch, and today I'm going to show you how to use some public databases to look up some interesting information about buildings and property owners in Chicago, Cook County, and the state of Illinois. First, I'm going to show you how to use the City of Chicago's Building Code Violation Portal. Then I'll show you how to look up Cook County property ownership information. And then I'll show you how the state of Illinois keeps information on corporations and LLCs registered in Illinois. So first I'm going to show you how to look up building code violations in the City of Chicago data portal. This information might be interesting to you if you're thinking about moving into a building and want to know if there's been a history of issues there, or if you already live somewhere and are having problems and would like to see if Chicago building code inspectors have cited the building for building code violations. This database is not a database of complaints about problems at the building, but rather a database of actual violations cited by City of Chicago building inspectors when they've come to inspect the building. On the landing page of the data portal, in the Data tab, you see that the entire database consists of nearly 2 million violations, and they all go back to 2006. Every building where an inspector has cited a violation since 2006 in Chicago will be in this database. In the search bar, type in the address. For example, 6610 South Kenwood. Now we see that this list of violations is down to 107. And there's several pages with 50 violations to a page. Now, I know that 6610 South Kenwood is a rather large courtyard apartment building, and 6610 is just one of the addresses there. So I would like to see all of the violations for the building, not just at this particular address. For that, I will need the property group number. Scroll to the right until you get to the property group column and copy this number, 19654. This is the unique ID number the City of Chicago has assigned to this building. So all of the citations at this building will be linked together by this number, no matter what the address is. I'm going to clear out the search. Don't worry when the screen changes. And then go back to the property group column. Click on the 3 horizontal lines. Click on the funnel and paste that number. Now I see that 176 violations have come up. And when I go to the address, I can see 6610 South Kenwood, but also 6618. So I know the property group search worked. On the left-hand side of the table, you'll see the violation date. These are usually in reverse chronological order. And this is the date when the inspector actually observed the problem. That's the most important date. The violation status might say open or closed or complied, but this information is often out of date or inaccurate. The violation description will say a little bit about what the violation was, such as stop storing garbage, stop leaking water. To the right of that, in the violation inspector comments, you'll get a little bit more information. You can hover your mouse over the text to see it in full. For example, 6612, 6614, and 6616, some stairway emergency lights failed. If you would like to export this data, you can click on this export button on the top right. And if you're interested to learn more about what all of these column headers mean, you can click on the About tab, scroll down, and see explanations of the column headers here. So now I'm going to show you how to look up who owns your building or a building that you're interested in. Property ownership information is kept by a variety of Cook County agencies, the county clerk, the county treasurer, the county assessor. I'm going to show you one method to look up property ownership information through the Cook County Assessor's website. So go to cookcountyassessor.com, and at the top, under Search, click on Search by Address. I'm going to enter our address, for example, 5645 West Washington in Chicago. Select I'm not a robot and click search. Now we have a variety of information about this building. We're going to scroll all the way down until we get to this blue button that says access more in-depth property details here. Click on that. And now on the left-hand side of this menu, click on sales. And you can see here that the last time this property was sold was in February of 2020. The seller was Fast Track Properties, and the buyer was Pike 2103 LLC. Now, it's possible that when you do your address search, this section will come up blank, or there might be a date here, but no information about the seller and the buyer. So in the second part of this, I will explain to you what to do if you're not coming up with the information you need through the assessor's website. The other method we're going to use will involve two parts. First, we're going to find the property PIN number. Every property in Cook County has a unique ID assigned to it called a PIN number. And we're going to find it by using the Cook County GIS portal. The GIS portal has many ways to search. You can search by address, by PIN, or even by street intersection in Cook County. I'm interested in a building at 11,000 South Michigan Avenue. And as I type in the address, our options come up. So I'm just going to select the first one. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to make sure it's the right building. And it is. I know that this is a building along Michigan Avenue between 110th Street and 110th Place. This is the building I'm interested in. This dark blue number here is the PIN number, and you can also see it here. When you click on it, you can actually select it and copy it. And now that we've copied the PIN number, we're going to go to the Cook County Clerk's Recorder of Deeds database. In this database, we will paste the PIN number and click Full Search. And now we're going to look at all of these are all recordings with the clerk's office. These are recordings of documents such as deeds, mortgage documents, foreclosure documents. You can have mechanics liens on there. That means that somebody did work on the building and they weren't paid, so there can be a lien on the property. There's a lot of different kinds of documents. But in order to figure out who owns the building, you're going to look for the most recent document that has the word deed in it. There's many different types of deed, and it doesn't matter what kind of deed it is. You just want to find the most recent document that has the word deed. So I'm just going to search for the word deed on the page, and I see that in August of 2022, there's a trustee's deed. I'm going to click on View. This brings me to the deed, and over here on the left, the grantor, the Chicago Title Land Trust Co. TR, trust number 20,058. This is a trust that used to own the building. Sold this property to 11,000 South Michigan Avenue LLC. Since this is the most recently dated deed, I know that this is 11,000 South Michigan Avenue LLC is the current owner of the property. And on the right-hand side of the page, you can actually see a PDF of the deed document, which will basically tell you the same thing. In this top paragraph and in the first couple of paragraphs in the middle of the page, you have all of the same information explained in written form, that this trust sold this building to this LLC. So now that you know who owns your building, you might be wondering, well, who are the owners of the corporation or the LLC that owns this property? It's common in real estate for individual buildings to be owned by corporations or LLCs, and the Illinois Secretary of State keeps all of the information about the managers of those LLCs in a public database. So in the example that I showed you before, 11,000 South Michigan Avenue is a building that was owned by 11,000 South Michigan Avenue LLC. Note that the spelling of this LLC is 11,000 S Michigan Ave LLC. The Illinois Secretary of State business entity search is fairly broad and forgiving, so you don't have to enter the exact name of the corporation. You can even just enter 11,000 S and click search. In the list, you'll see 11,000 South S Michigan Avenue LLC, and then some other company called 11,000 S Michigan Corp. We're interested in this company. I'm going to click it. And as we scroll down, we can see that the company's principal address is in Brooklyn. We have agent information. The agent for the company is usually an attorney or sometimes an accountant. That's not the actual owner or manager of the company. Now, if we scroll down here to the Managers tab, this is where we'll find out that this company is owned by someone named Shia Wurzberger, whose address is in Brooklyn, New York. You can also click on File History to see historical records on the company. Sometimes the company will start out being owned by one individual or several people and then change ownership, and that will be recorded in the file history. Each of these files will lead you to an individual PDF that'll give you more information about the agent and the principal place of business and the manager of the LLC. Now, sometimes when you do the search on the Illinois Secretary of State website, you'll find that the company that's of interest to you is owned by another company, another corporation or LLC. In that case, we'll just repeat the process. So for example, let's say I'm going to type 6610 in my search bar because I'm interested in 6610 South Kenwood Residences LLC. I'm going to click on the company. I know that the agent is probably just a lawyer, so that's not important. Who's the manager? Lowenstein Capital LLC. That still doesn't tell me who this person is. I'm going to copy, go back to the business entity search, paste Lowenstein Capital, and click Submit. Now, when I look at Lowenstein Capital LLC and scroll down to managers, I see two individuals, Ariel and Raphael Lowenstein. Sometimes the company that owns the Illinois company will be in another state. And most states have the same business registration process as Illinois. So let's say that the company you're interested in that owns your building is owned by another company which has an address in Wyoming. You can go to the Wyoming Secretary of State's website and similarly look up who owns that particular Wyoming LLC. For any given state, you can just easily Google, Michigan Corporation and LLC search or Corporation and LLC registration and find your way to the proper database. I hope this demonstration has been useful and thank you for following along. You can find all of our work at injusticewatch.org.